just going to have a little play today. Going to have a little play with backing up, like, and not being pushed around, but deliberately moving back. So you guys can come a little closer if you want as well. Just yeah. So like deliberately moving back when your opponent throws a jab at you. So Brad can throw a jab and he can knock me back, especially if he's sitting heavy on those punches. I can sort of end up doing that. Is very different to he throws a jab and I purposefully move out of the way and make him chase me. It's a big mindset thing of like, is he moving me back or am I making him chase me? And the difference in that thought process, like in a fight especially, is fucking huge, and it'll dictate basically how tired you're getting. Because it's always good to be the one dictating, right? Like always, if I go for a run with someone, I want to be leading the charge. If they're leading the charge and I have to keep up with them, I'm like, oh man, how fast does this guy want to go? You know, just only slow down a little bit, you know? But that mentality of like always being the one dictating and always being the one in control, it makes life so much easier. So if I'm moving backwards, even if it's just in my head, it's like I'm making him chase after me and not he's pushing me around and I've relinquished control. Does that make sense? So for starters, it's literally just going to be, Brad's going to be kind of being assertive with his jab, and I'm just going to catch it, but as I catch, I'm going to drop my back foot that little bit. So again, just like that. It's as simple as that. He throws that jab. I'm going to be watching. I'll throw a jab back at Brad, and he's going to do the same thing. See how he just moves back? He doesn't end up over his heels where he's stuck, because we want to have that balance in between our feet. So not to there, because once I get there, it's hard to move. If my base is underneath me and not either side, I know it's hard to like shift my weight right or left. So I'll throw jab at Brad, yep, bump like that. He throws one back at me. So that's all we're doing just for starters. Just using that same side, catching on this one. We can do this with a number of things, slips, roll, pulling, you know. But just for now, we'll practice reading the body. Once I see his energy change, he starts to go for that jab, I'll drop that back foot out, catch, and let my front foot follow. Make sense? Any questions? So, same thing, obviously it's okay with one step being bop and staying safe, but a lot of the time, you know, especially with jabs aren't always the first and last. A lot of the time they're the first. And a lot of the time, like even that jab, he might be giving me a false sense of security with that first punch. Come a little closer, you guys, can you? It might be giving me like a false sense of security with that first punch. So I think, oh yeah, I'm safe. And then the second one, boom. Like he's tricking me by not actually showing me his full range on the first punch, so that I'm going like this and then he comes over with the second. So we have to be ready to straight away move after that first punch. So even if he throws the first one, I've gone bang, and he goes to the second one, I need to be able to escape on that second one. Once again, back up just a little bit more. So nice and slow, I've gone bang, boom. And see how I dip again? The first one, I'm moving my shoulders with it. One. And as I'm coming back, it's kind of like the momentum of turning my shoulders back. I just keep it going into that second slip. So the first one's like a catch, the second one's like a slip. Back up a little bit. So 1, 2. See, as I started to turn, I saw the second one coming, and I dip and pick my feet up. So again, 1, 2, like that. And if he was to keep following in, I've got bang, boom, at least I've picked my feet back underneath me if I wanted to throw a shot back over the top. So just for now, you guys can just practice that double jab. The first one's a catch, bang, again, shoulders turn with. He throws a left hand, I'm gonna catch with the left hand, boom. He steps up again. As I'm turning, I dip further, pick my feet up, land balance. Let's also try and keep that right hand up here. I was probably doing a bad job of it then. Double it up, boom, boom. And I'm ready to go. And again, boom, boom. And notice, like I've been saying, try and make it look like sparring. So it's not like I throw a double at Brad, boom, and then he throws two at me. All those transitions, we want this to be as similar as we can make it to what's going to happen in the ring. So all the movements are the same. So in our head, when we see that movement, it'll just come out. Like we're anchored to what we'd be doing in a real fight situation. Is that making sense? Yeah. Try and make it as realistic as possible. So on this one is like, once again, we're going to assume that they're still wanting to put the pressure on. After they've thrown that double jab, and even if they've missed twice, they're sort of, like every now and then you're going to get aggressive guys. Come a little closer. Every now and then you're going to get like aggressive guys that they just chase you around all day, you know, and it's fucking hard to deal with. If they're like, even if they lack skill, but they just impose themselves for the whole fight, it is hard to deal with. And sometimes that's a go-to option. If you can't outclass a guy, and it happened to me, my first or second, anyway, I think, yeah, second boxing fight was against a guy way more skill, way better boxer. And it was like apparent after the first minute that I didn't have the experience. So I literally just followed him around and just punched the piss out of him. He was a better boxer than me, but I was able to impose myself, right? If he had been a slightly better skilled boxer, he would have handled me. You know what I mean? So that's what we're working on. We're working on those guys. So Brad's gone the double jab, bang, bang, and he's still following me in, and I'm gonna make sure that I'm in a position to follow up on the third one. Yeah? So I've gone catch, slip, bum, boom. And see how, even after I threw that cross hook, we'll come back with the cross hook, so when you guys are receiving it, you can just defend it. So you can block if you want, that's fine. Even after that, even after I've thrown my cross hook, that's not the end. So you just notice my footwork. After I hit it, I'm still on my toes, okay? So catch, slip, boom, boom. And I'm still here because knowing he might come in again and I'll have to peel off and move once again, right? So catch, slip, boom, boom. Even I'm just sort of keeping him on the end of those, and you don't necessarily have to, like if you see another thing to keep him away, like I don't know if you noticed then I threw the cross hook and I sort of just used a jab because I noticed I was a little bit close. It's because I'm trying to keep him at range, right? I want him to come chasing in from a distance where I have the opportunity to pick him off or slip or catch or react. With a guy who likes to put pressure on, once he gets to here, that's a hard time. But here, especially if he's a little bit like lacking with skill and really relying on imposing himself, he's probably trying to impose himself because he doesn't have the technique to back it up. Does that make sense? So therefore there's going to be holes that I'll take advantage of if I'm the better boxer. So catch, slip, pick my feet, he's still coming in, bang, bang, and then I'll still be looking off that. If you guys have the room, you can cut an angle, move off to your left, move off to your right. So, and I'm just watching from the outside. After I land that cross hook, I'm watching, looking for what's next. Do a bit better of a job of keeping that right hand high, like I was probably a little bit lazy with it then, but let's keep it all from here. Last one. Puss.